Special request power tumbling topics, talking about power tumbling. What we're going to do is I haven't even watched any of these videos. I'm just going to break it down live for you. We're going to go step by step. I'm going to explain to you what is happening in power tumbling, and we're just going to realize power tumbling is like one of the easiest sports out there, and I don't know what's so complicated. In fact, you know what the hardest thing about power tumbling is the hardest thing about all of gymnastics, and that is basically just committing 100%. That's probably the hardest part. And before we dive into these videos, I'm going to give you a little tidbit on how to overcome fear and how to develop a level of confidence that is just unstoppable. Okay, so if you're an athlete and you're like, man, I struggle with being afraid, or you're a coach and you're like, man, I'm so tired of coaching kids who are afraid, and you're like, how do I get this level of just irrational confidence, right? Like, how do I get irrational confidence inside my athletes in a healthy way that's safe? I'm going to tell you right now, so you can just watch this little part and then not watch the rest of the video if you feel like it. Here's the thing. You need to do everything that you do at 100% max effort. Period. That's it. So imagine this. Imagine you said you go to gym. You're gonna, whether you're training, you're the athlete, and you're gonna do throw skills or do drills, or you're coaching. Imagine I challenge you with this to see how quickly you will just improve exponentially. Okay. You're not allowed to do anything that you cannot do at 100% max effort. Period. Go train a day like that and see what you actually accomplish. One, you're going to realize you're not as good as you actually thought you were. You're going to be like, man, I have a lot of limitations. There's a lot of things I'm not willing to go 100% max effort on. Two, you're going to find out there's a lot of things you could have been going max effort on that you've been holding back on. And that's been basically the reason why you're plateauing. I did this when COVID happened and it shut our gyms down, essentially. My gyms are in California. And we're slowly ramping back up into, getting the business going and stuff. We had the team girls coming in and, season got shut down. It was just like we're in this weird state. And I was like, I'm just going to pursue conditioning and I'm going to pursue this confidence, like irrational confidence. Like, how are we going to get it? And so I said, what we're going to do is we're just going to chase max effort stuff. Like none of this like half effort, 80%, 75% effort. If you do something, it's going to be everything you got. And that's all we're going to do. If I see you doing something that you cannot give 100% effort on, I'm going to have you stop and we're going to do something else. I had girls sprinting as fast as they could, not just doing front tucks into the foam pit off of a floor. It was sprint as fast as you can into that front tuck. That changed everything. Their vault speed increased. Their lack of fear of going over objects increased. They had so much confidence oozing out of them. It was wild. Mind-boggling, actually. The unfortunate side of things was basically as I go and train coaches and I would teach them these principles and I'd hand off groups and kids to them, they wouldn't understand the value and the importance of this. But I literally, from that moment on, I realized that fear is just a joke. It's not real. Fear is the absence of something, and fear is the absence of confidence. Literally, when you have confidence, you do not have fear. I've never seen a confident person afraid. That doesn't make any sense. So your fear is coming from your lack of confidence, and your confidence comes from an extreme ownership of self, 100% max effort. Everything you do. When I teach back handsprings to a group that's never done back handsprings before, maybe they just got their back handspring on a trampoline, or we're going to go to the tumble track, whatever it might be. I'm asking them the question, why do we back handspring? And this leads into the power tumbling. I say, why do we back handspring? And I drive in the point that there's only one reason you back handspring. One. Not all this 47, 30, different reasons, and there's 12 different levels and 4 different programs. None of this. This is all just crap. Throw it away. Get rid of it. You need to simplify. There's only one reason you back handspring. I'm going to pause for a second to see if you can even think about what that one reason is. We're going to see it in power tumbling. Now, they're going to do other things outside of it, but they're going to use the back handspring for the one reason that I'm bringing up. And that is, we back handspring so we can double layout. That's it. You do a back handspring so you can double layout. So if your back handspring doesn't look like you can double layout, then you don't have a back handspring. And so from the get-go, from the jump, I'm teaching back handsprings max effort. Do not throw half percent. Do not throw 75, 50, 20, do not, 100%. And if you cannot throw 100% into that back handspring, you're not ready to learn it. Simple as that. I'm not teaching half effort. I'm not teaching half effort. You know what the problem is with coaches? All of you, every single person, myself included. The problem is that we allow people to operate at 97%. That's our problem. And then that 97% leaves a 3% margin of compromise. And if you know anything about stock investing and you want to make money in the stock market, you understand what compounding is. Well, you've just compounded a 3% investment into your future, and pretty soon you're operating at 78% effort because you've compromised and you've built off that compromise. And now they can't pack salto at 100% effort. They're pack saltoing at 78%. They can't do a full twisting double back at 100% effort. They're halving the effort, so they're landing short. This is what we just see constant. We do not see girls learn giants with 100% effort in their mindset. They don't. They don't fall as fast as they can on the bar. They don't arch and kick into their tap as hard and as aggressively as they can. And they don't ride the energy the best they possibly can. They're hesitant, they're nervous, they're unsure. Even if they're operating at 90-something%, it's still not good enough because that giant is useless. It's one of the dumbest skills on bars is the giant. Incredibly important to learn. Incredibly important to learn. But at the same time, it's just lame. You can throw a bar routine without ever doing a giant. So the value of the giant is far less than the kip. You need a kip. You need a kip cast handstand more than you need a giant. And yet what we do is we allow people to get to giants with compromise. And then we never get them a giant that actually is what the purpose of the giant is, which is the ability to generate energy and resource. Now, in men's gymnastics, giants are super important. But women's gymnastics, you can get away with pretty much every single skill without ever having to do a giant. Maybe a double layout would be the exception, right? That you probably should throw a giant into your double layout. But you could probably get away with it. You could just figure out another way of doing it, right? Maybe you go, I don't know, clear up handstand into the double layout or something that would, maybe a blind full would generate the energy. That would be the reason why you need a giant. But there's ways of getting around it. And the problem is that we don't max effort stuff and we make compromise. What we're going to see with power tumbling is there is literally no compromise. There's just none. And we're going to see when people do compromise just a little bit. We're probably going to see some people land short. We're probably going to see some little mistakes. There is some compromise. But for the most part, they are moving in a direction forwards at max effort. And that's the lock-in. That's what we need to understand. And so if you can grasp anything that I'm about to say, it starts with max effort. Don't listen to, well, their head position was over. Forget that. Don't listen to, well, they're arching over here and they're hollowing or they're piking. No. That comes after max effort. You don't have max effort. I don't care what your technique is. It's trash. It's a waste of time. If I need you to get something done and you're not going to have a full battery pack, draining it as fast as you possibly can, we're not even playing the same game. Do not pull up in a tricycle trying to drag race. You can do all the correct NASCAR driving techniques in a go-kart, but you will not beat a car in NASCAR riding a go-kart. But you can do all the same techniques with the acceleration and the brake, and we're not even playing the same game. I cannot hound on this enough. Like, if you're an athlete, you need to understand that your weakness, your greatest weakness, the number one weakness is your inability to do max effort on all your skills. Because the fact that you cannot max effort on all your skills is literally your problem. I'm just going to harp on this one more point because beam is another example of this. Girls learn back handsprings so that they can never back handspring. That's how they learn backhand. They learn back handsprings to not back handspring. What do I mean by that? A back handspring is a layout step out with no hands. That's what a back handspring is. A back handspring is a layout step out, right? So all I have to do is take a layout step out and put my hands on the beam, and that's the back handspring. I need to stop thinking back handspring is a thing. A back handspring is a layout step out. A layout step out is a back handspring with no hands. All a back handspring is a dumbed down version of a layout step out. But what do? We teach back handsprings isolated by themselves first, not connected. Okay, so why do I max effort something that's isolated? You're not going to. You're not going to throw the back handspring isolated aggressively as you possibly can because it's not connected to anything. So you have to control the power. So we learn an isolated back handspring at step out on beam, useless. You should start with connection. You should just connect it immediately. There's no reason not to connect it. You go to the floor, double back handspring connected. Can you do that? Yes. Good. Now can you go to the low beam and double back handspring connected? No. You know why? Because you don't have a layout step out. Because you don't know how to max effort your back handspring step out into something greater and bigger. Skills get easier the more you can max effort harder skills. This is how the simplest of the game works. So let's dive in. Enough chit-chatting on this silly subject, and let's see what these athletes got going on over here. This is a video on some of the hardest tumbling passes out there. So we're gonna see what's going on here. Okay. Let's actually, you know what we'll do? We'll watch the pass, and then I'm going to break it down and go back to it and go. So what do we got here? Boppity boop. I mean, okay. So three major skills. The rest of it is just whatever. Not even complicated. Okay. Let's get going here. What do we got here? Okay. Video's not very good, but look at the man's face. I mean, he looks like he is 100% engaged. That guy does not look like he is on a vacation right now. He is going. Okay, let's see. Look at the tension in the face. You see that? You ever watch a person do a tumbling pass into a cartwheel? Does their face look like that? No, it does not. It does not. It looks like they're just hanging out waiting to have cupcakes after practice. Okay, that guy's face he's on lock. He's locked in. He's hitting G-forces. I mean, he's squeezing everything. Right? Okay, here's what we need to see. Look at the levelness of his head. His head is not going up and down, just straight forwards. Straight forward. What is power? Straight. It's a straight line that you tumble in a straight. His head is moving straight forward. And notice the lean and the down angle that he has. He's at a certain height for a very specific reason. Okay, one, he is falling. But look at the drive happening. I mean, look at the muscles. He's got muscles popping out of his legs. Okay, look at even his hip motion. It's not really going up and down in this run. Okay, here we go. No, wait a second. This is anti-gymnastics. His arms are not by his ears. Now, I even like the fact that he has one arm out to the side. You know what that tells me? It tells me he's initiating a round off, and he's trying to create as much angular momentum as possible. He's got one arm that's lifting up. Let's see which arm do you think he's going to throw down to the ground? His left arm or his right arm? Based off of this, which arm is he throwing down to the ground? Now, why wouldn't he lift that arm all the way up to his ears? Well, I can tell you because it would slow him down, okay? Do you see which arm he threw into the ground? The arm that is higher, that's about as high as he's going to be able to get it up because he has to get it down. So the distance between how high his hand is off the floor to where it needs to go down is a time thing. How fast can he get his hand down? So he wants to get his hand as high as possible because down is how we generate more power because we're using gravity going with gravity and we're sending things into the floor. We need to go down, but he can't move his hand any faster than that distance, so that's how high his arm could go. If he lifted his arm all the way up here, it would take longer for his hand to get to the ground. He wouldn't be able to get there in time, thus he couldn't go as fast. Technique, this is the silly thing. Technique actually ruins max effort because in order to go faster, you cannot travel great distances. And so what we have with technique is if I put my arms by my ears, now my hand has to travel a longer distance, which means my hand has to move faster than what I actually am physically possible of doing. So that's not a beneficial technique. So first off, the arm is moving forwards because he's traveling forwards and it's going down to generate. So we want forwards and down. That arm is pulling him. This arm out to the side, okay? He's counterbalancing it. He's kind of a little early, whatever. He didn't really need to throw it out to the side, but you can tell he's probably focused on the left side of his body and he's probably checked out on the right side of his body. I mean, this guy is going 100%. I mean, look at this goofiness that's going on here. Who cares? The dude's max effort running. He's going to be checked out on some things. He is going forwards. Okay, this is a very interesting, I mean, it almost looks like he's about to punch, right? But if you notice, he gets small, really, really small. So he's kind of stretching himself out, and he's shrinking down. Interesting. And he's going lower. He's starting up tall and he's going down. This is going to be a theme because this is what tumbling is. Get tall, get down. So he doesn't have an arm throw from a very high position, but he dropped his chest to help bring himself down. Okay, now he's going forwards and down. We can see that this is fall, fall, fall. I like to talk to kids. When I talk to kids, I say in the hurdle, from you hurdle, it's fall, fall, fall. I'm in the air. Okay, this is the fall. He fell. Now he's putting his foot down. That's the other fall. Okay, that's the other fall. And then his hand contact is the next fall. There's 3 falls. You have to think like fall, 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 like you're going downstairs. Okay, so fall, fall, fall. Okay, look at the hand placement right here. So common that when somebody is going to have max effort, they're just going to overturn and they're not going to have this proper technique. Okay, everyone gets obsessed about this, but you know what? At the end of the day, fixing this is not going to get you to max effort. In fact, if you have kids having their hands in a straight line, more than likely, you're actually slowing them down because they're so focused on doing it correctly, they won't max effort. Now, can you go fast and get better hand position? Absolutely. We'll probably see some people who have better hand position than he does. But this actually is a product of tumble track. What I've learned from tumble track is tumble track, because the tumble track actually lowers down and has a lot of time delay. Kids tend to overturn on tumble track a whole lot more. They don't actually go hands in line on tumble track. And so what I've learned is that on floor, I try to get everyone's hand positions correct and I fix them. And then I'm like, oh, we're good. And then I totally forget about that. And so then I go to tumble track and then everyone's overturning their hands on tumble track because just the way the surface moves and it's so much easier to cheat. So they go to tumble track, do bad hand techniques. Then we come back to floor. I'm like, why are you guys all overturning your hands? It's because you have a tumble track. Okay. So I don't really focus on cleaning things up perfectly until I actually need them to be that way, because I understand what I'm fighting, what I'm going against. Look at the wonderful leg separation. Okay, here we go. He brings his legs down. He's bending his knees right there. Why? Because he wants to shorten his body and get his feet into the ground as fast as he can. Look how quickly he stands up. Bam. It's just there. Okay. Here is where I hate sets. You know what I hate about sets? That is not a set. If you went to watch a kid, I've seen this, there's this one video, this cheerleader, she does like an amazing set supposedly and flies in the air, arms are straight, pointed to the ceiling, body rotates right into her set. And everyone's like, that's so good, such a good set. You know what? I'm going to say mean words to you, okay? Because I need to shake you up and make you realize that you're not chasing reality. You don't know what you're actually chasing after. You're chasing some like, woohoo, you did a set. Who cares? That's not a set. That guy is not set. His elbows are bent. His arms are not as high as they possibly could be. He's not setting. Let's see what happens with his. Wait, he's not. He's throwing his head before his arms even got to his. If you had a kid doing a skill, do you not tell them not to throw their head? Now, I would never say, hey, throw your head and don't lift your arms all the way up. His arms are now vertical. He's got one arm bent, one arm higher. His arms are now vertical facing the ceiling. He's already arched. This is where his set is. This is not what you see when people learn how to do back tuck sets. That's because they don't know what they're doing, because back tucks are stupid. Who cares if you can set in a back tuck? You ain't doing this skill. Look at the arch position. Now, we're going to go back a step. I want you to see the floor. Watch his feet. Watch his feet, okay? There's the floor. He hits it. Boom. Look at the depression that happens. Look how hard he is pushing that down. That is very, very important to understand. He is pushing it down. The feet are what I call are in front of him because they're forwards. They're moving in the direction. So he is behind his feet, okay? Now, watch this next shape change of the arch. Boom. He's arching. The feet have not left the ground. There's still depression. He's arching. He's now getting on top of his feet. So he's behind his feet. Now he gets on top. So now he's pushing in at an angle. Now he's stacking everything on top of his feet. Let's see what happens. Okay, now the feet have left and now he's passed over his feet. That's very important to understand how directions move. So this is how he's getting himself to go up. He's perfectly straight up and down. The floor is going, hey, let's push you straight up into the air. And as the floor is pushing him straight up in the air, he's like, just kidding. I don't want to do a straight jump. So I have to pass over my body. Now, what I tell kids when I'm teaching back layouts to them, I say, you have to get your head and chest out of the way of your hips and your feet so that your hips and feet can go up. If your head and shoulders are on top of your hips and your feet, how are your hips and feet going to get above you? If my hips go up, my head goes up because my head's on top of my hips. So you have to get your head and chest out of the way so that your hips and feet can travel up in the air and not push your head up any higher. Okay, so now he's traveled out of the way. So now his head and chest are going down and back. His hips and feet are rising up because the floor was pushing him up, but he gets his upper body out of the way. Okay, now here's what we want to look at. Oh, he's starting to twist. I'm not a super fan of how he's initiating his twist, but what do I care? This guy's legit. He's on the 5 best male tumbling passes of all time, so it don't matter, right? Okay, I want you to notice this is his quarter turn right here. There's his quarter turn right here. Look where his arm is in the quarter turn. Okay, quarter turn, kind of important. Now, we're going to go back to a position right here. Okay, this is important, so lock in on this thought, because why does Raleigh say, why was I had so much vitriol to this set? Well, because your set is dumb, that's why, and because you don't know how to twist. Setting is not, eventually when you start twisting, you start not really setting. You don't need to. That's not what it's doing for you anymore. Okay, this arm, his right arm is punching to the ceiling. Now this is what I'm going to call the flipping arm. If we were to get really, really nuanced about it, I would be wrong in my terminology, but I'm using terminology that kids can understand. So I call it the flipping arm because this right arm is initiating the flipping direction. He is flipping backwards. That right arm is quote unquote setting. It's throwing backwards as best he possibly can. But his left arm is like, just kidding. I don't want to throw backwards. That's why his elbow is bent. It's not really throwing backwards the way you thought. Now let's back this up. Let's go back a second because Raleigh, what are you talking about? How do I know I can trust what you're saying? Because I'm obsessed about really stupid little stuff. Which arm is his flipping arm and which arm is his twisting arm? Which arm is quote unquote setting for the flip and which arm is like, I don't give 2 bad words inside my head about what you're doing. We have his left arm is his flipping arm. His right arm is his twisting arm. His right arm is checked out. It is not part of the story. It is not helping him flip. It is out there to the side. His left arm is ready to go. The left arm is like, yo, I am flipping, right? What does his left arm do? Look at what his left arm does. Initiates the up, initiates the down. Okay, what does this arm do? Checks out. He's not going down. He's like, I'm going forwards. This arm's going down, creating the flip. Forwards. A round off, by the way, is just a front handspring that says, just kidding, I'm quarter turning. That's what a round off is. So it's front tumbling that's like, just kidding, I'm going to twist. So this hand goes straight down because he's initiating front tumbling. His other arm is like, just kidding, and starts pushing forwards, past the flip. That's what initiates the pull to the twist. This hand is connected to here. Now, you know what? We're going to go look at Kenzo at some point because Kenzo has a really good video of a guy who can do this. So, but anyways, so here's his set. Okay, that's his flipping arm. He's dropping this arm because he doesn't need it to flip. What does he need it to do? He needs it to twist. Now, this is where people get flipping and twisting wrong. Okay, there's 3 different types of twists. I'm going to actually pull up this. This is, let me go over here real fast. That'll be a better visual. Okay, so this is information that I create and train my employees on. Okay, so these are the 3 different types of twists. Okay, you have basically segmented twisting. That's kind of what he's doing. You got tilt twisting where you make one side of your body bigger than the other side of the body, and then one side that's bigger basically can't rotate as fast, so the smaller side speeds up in twist, so the bigger side rotates slower than the smaller side. And then you got the cat twist concept. This is like the seat drop, half turn seat drop. This is where you're changing your reference point around your center of mass, essentially. You're repositioning yourself around your center of mass. So this is like having a big wheel and a small wheel on a car. And this is like segmenting, winding yourself up, essentially, what you see a lot in like pirouette turning for girls. Okay, so he's doing a combination of, basically twisting has all of this involved. There's not one. You actually have to know how to do all of it because he's using some of this concept. One of his arms was straighter than the other, so he's using some tilt twisting. He's using some segmentation, and then he's going to actually do some cat twisting more than likely at the end. Usually you see this at the fall or the finish of the twist. But the segmentation that's happening here, this is kind of important to understand that this arm is his left arm. In this image, at least, it's the left arm. Is pulling backwards and down. But what I want you to think about is there's a part of your body that is rising and a part of your body that is falling. And so if this character is flipping, the left arm is actually going down, falling, as the right arm is rising. I use an example. We'll go back over to this guy. We'll use a We'll use a piece of paper. Okay. So I take a mat. When I'm teaching twisting to kids, I'll take a mat. So we'll just use this piece of paper as an example. I'll take a mat and I'll say, okay, here's the 2 different ways of twisting. And this is not true, but this is what I say to kids so that kids can understand it. Okay. I say there's the door twist. And so I take the mat and then I just hinge it off of itself. So it's pivoting off of like pretending like there's hinges on a door. I'm just going, hey, there's the door, and we'll use a smaller object. Okay, here we go. So here's the door. I just go, okay, it's hinging like this. Here, let's actually, I'm still new to this, guys. All right, bear with me. Okay, so here's like the door twist. I'm gonna hinge and I'm gonna go like this, and this is the door twist. Okay, door twist. I'm hinging. And so I'll have a kid on like a trampoline and they'll do like a seat drop, and I want them to door twist, and they'll twist on the trampoline surface and they'll travel sideways off the trampoline. And I say, that's not actually how we twist. We want to twist where one half of our body travels up faster than the other half. Because if you pick up one half up higher, what happens? The other half drops directly underneath it. Twisting is as if you have 2 sides of your body, 2 sides, and twisting is essentially just picking up one side faster than the other. That's what twisting is. Just pick up one side faster than the other. That's all twisting is. Okay? So what is happening here? His right side, his right side is traveling up faster than his left side. Isn't this is crazy? His right side is traveling up. Look at, there's his right side of his body. It's on top of his left side at the quarter. Very, very important with quarter twisting. You need to learn how to quarter twist. You need to learn how to lift your body up. And you see this line underneath his feet? It's so important that he twists his quarter directly on top of that line. Okay? A little bit of segmentation in the sense of he's initiating chest, drop shoulder. This right shoulder is higher than his left shoulder, but he's really letting his right side rise faster. He's not fully committed to the twist yet. He's getting to his quarter position first. Now, when you get to twisting, you get to quarters and you know where quarter is, boy, you can see the ground, life opens up for you. Okay, so a very important key. Now he's pulling in. Okay, now we're at the halfway point. Head is lifting or turning, arms are slightly behind. Okay, we're gonna watch quarters and quarters and quarters and the 45 degrees, but we can't see a good angle from here. Here is his next, so here was his quarter. Okay, there's his half position. There's his next quarter. Okay, and right around in this spot is his next quarter. So he can already see where the ground is, where he is. Okay, now here's where we get to the confusion. Raleigh, how do I initiate a double layout? How do I initiate this double lay with continuous twisting? I mean, look where he finishes. I mean, he finishes so early on everything. Okay, how do you initiate from here to right here? I want you to notice, watch his shorts. Watch his shorts. They stay roughly above this blue banner. So his shorts stay roughly above this blue banner. Okay, he's still above the blue banner. He's still above the blue banner. And then right now he's just falling. So this is kind of important to know when and where this is supposed to happen. I'm going to bounce back over here. I want you to see something. There's something called a flight path, right? Our skill, every skill has a flight path. And so when we think about these flight paths and where they go, they're going to tell us things about the skill. Your flight path has to match the skill that you're doing. If your flight path is too short, you're going to go back into the ground too early. If it's too high, it might stall too much. If it goes out too long, you may not actually have the height that you need to finish the rotation or the twist. And so you have these questions of like, what am I supposed to do? What is my flight path supposed to look like? And so that's the difference of what we're seeing here is he's got a rise and a fall. And the rise and the fall is so subtle, but we're gonna hopefully you can see here he is below. His hips are below the blue banner. He is rising, he is falling. So everything, all the magic just happened right here from this point. Basically, we'll say this point right here, this point to this point. This is the magic. Now, I want you to notice he's at a quarter position right here. Do we see he's at a quarter position right here? Very, very important. Okay. Do you see his quarter position right here? Do you see his quarter position? So we got quarter position right here. Okay. next quarter position right here, next quarter position right here. I'm just identifying these points so we're all on the same page. It's not about halves and halves, it's about quarters and quarters. When he goes and flips, he is flipping into his quarter position. When he goes to rotate to find awareness of where he is actually twisting into this quarter position right here. Okay, this 3/4 at this point, but I just call them quarters because they're not at the half positions. So he's actually going from here to here. Now this point right here, his feet are going to have to drop and his head has to rise. Feet have to drop and head have to rise from here to here. Okay, he has to pick himself up and get himself into the quarter. Now this is where kids will get stuck doing like double doubles and stuff like that. Usually at this spot, they're not in the quarter, they're in the half position. They're actually facing the direction they came. He is actually over twisted. I need you to understand this. See, this is the half position. A lot of kids who are doing double double anything will have their feet down and their head up in this position. He has finished the quarter. He's now at the side position, side flipping. He is side flipping in the vertical position. So important because that's how he's going to dump his head down. If he was facing the direction he came, he would have to then initiate back flipping to then initiate, and it would stall. That's why double doubles stall on people. You will notice that anybody who does a really good double double, triple double, quadruple double, quintuple double, it doesn't matter, whatever we're doing, we're at the quarter positions because it's actually about dropping side energy flipping. That's what we're noticing. So that's what we need to be paying attention to. Where are the quarters? Okay, I know I'm just being annoying with this by now. And so he drops it down. Okay, notice where he finishes. He finishes here. He can see the ground. And now this is where the cat twist takes in place. Do you notice that he's shape changed right here? So he's kind of wiggling. There's a little arch wiggle. He's kind of got a wiggle going on where he's arched a little bit and then he's shape changing around himself into the down. Beautiful arms coming down. Everything's going into the ground. And then bam, he lifts everything up. Now he just going straight into the ground. Here's what we need to understand. He's got down pressure going. Doesn't want to break his spine, right? So what does he try to do? He tries to, he's hitting, he tries to take his center of mass and get it off of his feet. He is not trying to land directly on top of his center of mass and just compress everything in his spine. So as he's hitting, he's getting off his center of his foot point, his point load, where he's loading his feet. He's getting off of that so that the down force does not go directly through his spine into his feet. Now it's basically dispersing his mass so that he does not have as much force coming into his body. Okay, so he's coming down. Now he's lifting his arms to help take himself off that balance. And we can see that he still has made contact and he's falling. Okay, head and shoulders go into the ground. Chest goes into the ground. Arms, they're just chilling. They don't really matter too much. Okay, you're going to notice that a lot of them have sloppy arms. Arms matter more in this spot right here, making yourself small. He's slamming everything he possibly can down into the ground. He's getting out of the way of his lower body so that it can travel over the top of him. Very flat too. Okay, the way that this is traveling is very flat. Not a lot of height to it. It's very important. Piking down, feet making contact, traveling over those feet so that he can get past him. This is accelerating. So we are using whips to accelerate. He's got to accelerate. He's got to go max effort. He can't just stop out of that first one. He's got to accelerate. He's got to go faster. That's essentially the goal. It's going to be kind of, stagnant to some degree. Okay. Oh, there's a back handspring. What did he do with that? Why did he back handspring here and not do a back whip? I'll tell you why. It's not complicated. Okay, back handsprings are how we drop our center of mass. So we go from whips to back handspring. So we just talked about it's like falling, fall. And so if I go whip to back handspring, then I'm going from a higher point to a lower point, and it helps me drop my center of mass into the ground. Okay, now he's changing his angle too. Notice the angle change that is happening in this. compared to when he was doing whips. He was more up and down on himself. So now he's getting his feet behind him. Well, of course he's getting his feet behind him. He just lowered himself to the ground. If you lower yourself to the ground, you don't have as much time to turn over, so your feet are going to get behind you. Perfect. That's what we wanted. Why do we want that? Because he wants to take off vertically. He doesn't want to turn over. So he drops everything into the ground so that he can't rotate as much because he's moving at such a fast speed, right? So if he's moving at a fast speed and he gets lower to the ground, he's automatically just going to hit the floor earlier. So he's back handspringing, so he hits the floor earlier so he can keep the same speed. Boom, because he wants to go straight up. Okay, he does exactly the same thing. He punches the sky with his right arm. His left arm is dropping. Now he's initiating the twist. Okay, we see the exact same thing. Quarter, arm's not fully in. And then where do we see? Okay, he's twisting. Oh, wait, look it. He's adding more twists. And what did he get to? The up and down position. He's still at the quarter position. Understand that. Okay, slams himself down. He starts opening up right here. He knows where this position is. And if you go watch Kenzo do his floor routines, you're going to notice that every time at parallel to the floor, Kenzo knows exactly where he is and where to open. This is where the cat twist comes into play. And so now we're just pivoting around the fall. Body is falling and you're just changing shape around your center of mass, trying to get on top of the center of mass that is falling. See, before, if his center of mass fell, he would be in line with it. And now he pivots around his center of mass so that he's on top of it as his center of mass is falling. Okay, gets back into the floor. Look how hard he hits the ground. What's he trying to do? Not go straight down onto his feet. So he's getting over it. He's going down. This is a good picture of him throwing down as his feet are going up. There's an exchange relationship. Down and up have a relationship because he wants to get out of the way of his lower body so he can keep accelerating it. Okay, he gets out of the way of his lower body so he can accelerate it. Oh, back handspring. Nice stretch. This guy's really stretching it out. Okay, he wants to send it out long energy. It looks like he's trying to somewhat stall you because he wants to twist. Okay, twisting. We need to understand something about twisting. And that is, and we're going to go back over to a picture over here. Just give me a second to find it. It's the wobble, Raleigh. Where's the... Not flight paths. Is it this one? No, it might be. It must be shift then. Let me see here. Yep. Okay. So I just want you to look at the picture of the character leaning to the side over here. This character leaning over to the side is shorter than the person who is standing up and down, because if we measure the distance from the head to the feet, that little bit of tilt of angle actually shortens the y-axis or the vertical height that the object is in, the character, the person, whoever you are. So this means that when we twist, twisting has a little bit of this skewing action. You're not flipping and twisting directly over the top. You kind of skew your body a little bit. By doing this, you're actually shortening the height of your rotation. The you that is rotating, you're actually shortening yourself. So you're not as long as you were by like probably millimeters, I don't know, half an inch or something like that. It's kind of important to understand because then if you become shorter or smaller and you get closer to your center of mass, essentially, you'll increase rotation. And so it's very important to understand that when we do lots of flipping, when we do lots of twisting, oftentimes we need to slow down our rotation because we've actually shortened the length we are in rotation. The length of ourselves actually rotating because we're skewed, essentially. We're off axis. And so that then means that there's a lot of stalling. You will see these techniques come out. I mean, this is not a very effective way to back handspring if I want to accelerate rotation. He's very long. He's not trying to accelerate. He's actually trying to slow down. Very long, trying to slow down. He's trying to, so he's got all, now why, and this becomes another confusing point. So lock in on this one too. Why would I accelerate only to slow down? Because two things need to happen. He needs to compress the floor as much as he possibly can. So he has to accelerate as fast as he possibly can to compress the floor because he's going to be using the floor to help him. But at the same time, he doesn't want to flip more. So he's conserving all this energy, like he's got a battery pack and he's absorbing as much energy as he possibly can. And then he's like, I want to unleash all my energy into the floor, but I don't want it to convert into rotation. I need to chill it out. And so he has a double problem. And this is why when athletes learn to flip and twist, oftentimes their twisting over rotates because they don't know how to send the energy into the floor without flipping. They know how to send energy into the floor and flip, but they don't know how to send it into the floor and not flip. Okay, so it's got to be a huge point. Here's our twists. Let's just look at where he is in the vertical. Oh, look at that. He's at the quarter position again. Do you understand how simple this is? Like, it does not matter how many twists you want to put in your flip. Just make sure that when you're right side up and your head's up at the, above your feet, you're at the quarter position, so that you can dump your head into the ground and initiate whatever else you need to do. It's not that complicated. And do you know that when you get to the parallel position, that's where your open is going to happen. That's where you're initiating cat twist, and you go cat twist, and that's where the pike down comes in. Pike down, boop. Okay, every single time. Why? Because I got to get on top of my center of mass because it's falling out of the sky. I want to be on top of it, not below it. Okay, boom. All right, let's go have some fun watching someone. Now that I talked through this, let's just go watch people and have fun watching them. And let's see where we get with our story. Running. Oh yeah, I mean, come on. That was a great video for entering a run. Let's make sure we appreciate. Look at the steadiness of his run. Look at everything's going forwards and small. Oh yeah, look at this. Now look at where his hand is going. Now this is a confusion point that a lot of coaches don't understand too. They'll say reach out. You got to reach out when you do your cartwheels or your round offs. You got to reach out. No, if I'm running so fast, when my foot makes contact to the ground, no matter how hard I try to set it down, you're still traveling forwards. So he can try to stick that hand to his foot if he wanted to. And that's what I tell kids. Put your hand where your foot is. But because you're running so fast, as you try to place your hand down, you're still traveling forwards because you're running. So your hand will never make it to your foot unless you were to stop running. And so your hand goes out, not because he's reaching out, but he's traveling forwards. That's just where his hand's going. Okay? Twisting arm. What's his twisting arm doing? Reaching forwards. Do you see how the twisting arm's reaching forwards? We see this when we look at like brannies and stuff like that. You'll see this oftentimes. One arm goes down, one arm reaches forwards. This arm reaching forwards is actually putting his quarter turning his body, putting him in alignment so that he's reaching forwards. I'm gonna do something kind of silly. Maybe obnoxious. We'll see if this works, because walking is the best way to learn about twisting, and this might help you explain it to your kids. So I don't know if you'll be able to really hear me, but I'm going to just talk loud, and this will probably be terrible audio, but I'm going to explain something about walking, and this is a great thing to take kids and teach them about twisting and the mechanics of twisting. But I'm probably going to look silly doing it because I was not prepared to do this. Okay, so check this out. If I'm walking and I take a step forwards, okay, so I'm just walking, I take my steps forwards, okay, walking, I have some stuff on the floor, so let me move this out of the way. I'm not twisting, I'm just walking. I'm going to be kind of obnoxious with my walk so you can kind of get the dramatic effect. If I take a big step forwards, okay, this is like this is like his arm. So this is like, I'm going to do this kind of like his left arm is reaching forwards. Just imagine this is my leg. Okay, I want you to see what it does to my hips. So this is my leg reaching forwards, and I want you to see what it does to my hips. So here's my leg, and I'm reaching forwards with it. Boom. Do you see that? I take my leg and I reach forwards with it. Boom. If I reach forwards enough, it will twist me. So that's huge. Very, very huge. If I reach forwards enough, it will twist me. Okay, because that tells us that we don't need to twist. We need to move forwards to create the twist. And so that's what his arm's doing. He's reaching his arm forwards so that it pulls him into alignment. Okay. I got really excited about myself and forgot to switch the screen back to what we're supposed to be looking at. So I have to go back and edit. I have no idea where I stopped from. So jump take back to where we are. Okay. Okay, I want you to check this guy out. And just look at how amazing he does. Everything the same. So check this out. Okay. He's going forwards, right? Going forwards, hurdling. Okay, arms are going forwards. He's not jumping very high. Everything's going forwards, a little bit up, right? A little bit up, but mostly forwards. Here is the hand that goes down to the ground. Now, I'm pretty sure I filmed myself properly talking about the walking forwards and all that. So we're going to move past that point over there. Okay, now he's snapping down and standing. We have the arm dropping and the other arm punching to the ceiling. So we have the same thing. He's going to be twisting left. Okay. Now he's doing it from a tucked position. Now I want you to notice something because I already did this, but I didn't have the camera on. He's at the up and down position, but he's a little bit past vertical at the quarter turn. So we're going to see this come into play later on. He loads the system. He tries to get off of his feet. So when it shoots up to the sky, he's passed over it. Okay. He's now sending himself into the ground. He collapses. Now, I think that this shoulder collapse and bring everything down is interesting based off of what he does. I think he lacks a little bit of confidence, max efforting. We're going to see this because right here, he's bending his knees. He's supposed to do a layout. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a layout, but he bent his knees. Now, I think the reason why he bent his knees is because he did a tucked version first. And so now he's doing a laid out version and his brain's already set up for tucks and he doesn't have full confidence in it. I would have done a laid out version as his first skill. That's what I would have done. Okay, so then we see that he can't stay in a laid out shape and look at where he is. At the quarter, he's a little bit over the top. I'd say he's a little bit, he's not getting here early enough. He's getting here late. He should be there here. This is where his quarter should be. It's at this point, but he's late to the party. So I think he lacks a little bit of confidence having the straight leg. Now he's plenty high, so he shouldn't have an issue, but I think that there's some confidence issues that are going on in that. There's that collapse. I think he's too light on his hands on that. I don't think he's actually driving this into the ground. If I'm going to collapse my shoulders, this needs to be sending into the ground a lot more. He's going straight up. I don't know. Yeah. There's little stuff here. Like, this is weird to me that he would tuck his legs to then kick his legs out. That's weird to me that he's initiating through this, especially when he's doing all of this work to set it up, because I think this is more set up for his tuck. That's like, I see this as being a setup not for a person to do layout work, but for someone doing tucks. And so he does tucks. He's very effective at them. And I think he's trying to get to layouts. And I think that that's what's throwing him off. He didn't get over his feet fast enough and head and chest down to be a layout. So he's tucking to rise. Then he starts to straighten it out. And even here, it looks like he's piking to make it happen, to get through all of it. Yeah. There's a little bit of form issues, right? He's landing short. It's because he's used to tucking, and his setup is set up for tucks. So that's that. And rock on to that guy. He's probably super stoked and excited because he looks like he's super stoked and excited. But hey, let's see what we got here. That's not the best angle, so I don't really want to see that one, whatever. That's cool. So here's another person using the dismount collapse. Look at how early he's pulling his toes. He's pulling it, sending him. Look how into the ground he is getting, dropping everything down. It's so important to understand that because look at how far he's compressing the floor. That's what he's trying to do, drop himself down to compress the floor to get lower than the floor, which is what he does very, very well. Okay. And then fun stuff. I don't really like how he pulled into his flip. Let's see what happened here. Okay. So do you see how his hips haven't finished rising and he starts pulling into his knees? So his hips are down. So he's kind of doing like that double tuck where the girls like collapse on themselves. That's kind of what he's doing right here. He needs his hips to rise up more. I mean, good job on him. Who am I to be critical of somebody doing a ridiculous triple? But that's his shortness right there because his hips didn't finish rising and he started pulling his knees in. It just kept his hips down. So that's where the problem came from. Not complicated. Straightforward. Let's see what he's doing. Okay, this is a good angle. Let's see where the arms are going to go. Okay, one arm goes up. Boom. One arm's kind of slightly down. Okay. Boom. He's reaching forwards. Yep. Okay. We can see that now the arms, right? I'm like, he's not twisting because look at where both arms are throwing, right? That arm would be down if he was twisting or something or whatever. So back double layout. We're just going to look at this real fast. He is making sure his head and shoulders and chest go down as his lower half goes up. And that's the key right there. Nothing too complicated. Just run fast enough and make it happen. Good timing. Okay, he's bringing it down. Do you see how he bent his elbows? He bent his elbows because he wants his center of mass to drop even lower. He doesn't want to keep them up. He wants to fall, fall, fall. And so he bends to keep falling. So his head gets really low to the ground. He's pulling it down. Now he's going back double lay again. Nice. So back whip. Let's see here. He brings it down. Big deal. Okay, another whip. So he's just accelerating. I know it's a blurry mess. Now here he goes into the ground. He is not collapsing on his shoulders. Notice that. There's no shoulder collapse happening here. Okay. Nice takeoff positioning. He's not pulling his knees. He's not doing any funny business. He's just stretching. And one arm is rising. You can see the stretch of the right side of his body lifting up, but the left side of his body is coming down. And then, okay, and so he does the similar that we just saw, but you can see that he's risen. His hips are rising, and now he's pulling. So let's see how he ends it if he ends short. Oh, not as bad as the other guy. Not as short, is it? See that? Did you guys, I mean, it's still not exactly where we would want it, but hey, you know what? It was a little bit better. It was a little bit better. You know, we're going to go back. I'm going to even break this down even further because this is not, okay, 1 second. Let's get backwards. Rewind skills. Okay. What do we got? Okay. So I would say that his head is not dropping fast enough into the ground. And so he's coming from, okay, so he's going full in. So right here, his feet need to be higher in the air. His head needs to be slamming into the ground harder. So he's a little bit, and I would say that, let's see here. Yeah, he's not focused on this quarter at all. He's in quarter mode and his feet are still too far down. He's twisting. So from here to here, he doesn't have enough lift in the lower half of his body. And so his lower half of his body doesn't lift enough. And now he's already initiating tuck without even getting enough lift of his lower half of his body. He would need to slam this down even harder into the ground so that his hips and his chest could rise up even higher. So he did not throw hard enough into the down to get his hips and chest to rise up. In fact, you can kind of see he's still kind of on top. And so his hips don't travel past him fast enough. He pulls too early. He could cowboy it or something like that. His legs separation, he's definitely not in tight enough, but I don't think that really matters as much. If we were to look at his apex where he is at the height, he's right here. He's short. So he should be right here at the height of his, we'd love to be right here at the height, but he should at least be here at the height, and he is not. He is here at the height. So he did not get to where he needed to be. You can see this because as you see the falling happening, he's falling. His center of mass is on top of his chest or in between his knees and his chest. So he's basically underneath it. It looks like he's going to land on his head. And so he has to barely scrape by. You can see that the head stops rotating right here and he just falls out of the sky. And a lot of that is because this spot is basically always predetermined and set. It's all based off of where you were at the height of your fall. Just think like you're rolling down a hill and it's just going to set you up to the same spot every single time. So he was not upright enough. He needed to pull his knees in and pick his chest up and slam it harder to get more rotation, but that's from the ground in my humble opinion. We're gonna just move on to watching some other videos. Let's see, what does she do? Okay, great. Here's a good little basic something. So she goes back handsprings. Why does she bend her elbows? To drop her center of mass, to get her head lower to the ground so she can snap into the ground more aggressively. Okay, here we go. One arm. I would say that she did not punch the ceiling hard enough with this left arm of hers. So let's see what she ends up doing. Yeah, and I mean, she has enough energy. This is the beauty of if you run fast enough, a lot of the technique doesn't even matter. So that's the beauty of it. She goes in. So this is where I talked about things can stall. So see how she's throwing? She's not at the quarter position. I would want the head to rise more at the quarter, and then it would just be a quarter out. Now, and why would I do? I mean, she's doing fine, but I can't double. You can't double that. That wouldn't work if she tried to double it. So that's the reason why. Lack of awareness where she was. Arm goes down, reaches out forwards, overturns a little bit. Whip, whip. Just again, arm technique can always be somewhat different. All it is matters is that you travel horizontally and you do not go up or do not go down. Just send it out horizontally. It's a little high. I don't know why I feel like she's a little high. And we're just going whips all the way down into it. Yeah, into. So she's got these whips, super high, like not super high, but they're higher than they probably should be. And then when she goes to back handspring, it looks like it's not really going to the ground. Luckily, she bends her elbows slightly. We'll see if it is enough. Punches the ceiling more than the other girl did with that flipping arm. Does she land short? No, pretty good. I want to notice, see that right there? Vertical, up and down at the quarter turn. Do you see where this gets initiated? At the quarter, then she starts pulling into the finish. It's a 3/4. It's a 3/4 twist and flip. So important to understand that. A lot of people don't get that. And then they think it's hard. It's not hard. Just be in the right spot at the right time. Okay, that was, wow. Obviously, it doesn't look like that's what she meant to do, but let's go with it. That was the lowest. What are we doing here? So it's like she's throwing into a back whip, and then she's like, I think I'll double pike. Now it seems like a good time. But she's going so fast that it doesn't even matter. It's like, it really doesn't matter. That's fun. That's just fun. Good for her. Probably had a bad day. Boop, boop, boop. Oh yeah, do you see the rhythm of that? We're going to watch her again. Look at the nice rhythm. Bop, bop, bop. Slows down, speeds up. Do you see how it accelerates? So she comes out of this. Okay. And so now it's not as fast as she would want it. It's kind of chilling. And then boom, she sends it down even faster. She lowers it even more to accelerate the rotation, and then bam, she gets it even more. So she comes out, she's kind of high, she drops it down a smidge, and then she drops it down into the back handspring. And so she throws 2 back handsprings, interesting. So she throws a back handspring to get it down, and then she's throwing another back handspring. I don't know if that would be the correct choice. She's definitely got massive leg separation, but here she is. I would say that she's trying too hard of setting both arms a little bit, but let's see what ends up happening. Oh, okay. She's not really. Yeah, you can see that there's a lot of disconnected sloppiness. Sloppy is not a nice word. Okay. It's just, there's a lot of disconnect happening. Just like this pike happening too early, leg separation. I would say that that's all being initiated because she doesn't actually know how to twist and flip to the level that she needs to. She's probably just huck and chucking. I don't know her. She's probably amazing. She's probably the best person in the world. So we won't be mean to her. But I don't think that she has awareness enough on the ground. I think this is okay. I don't know this girl either. So, I mean, if she's, if somebody's watching, I once had a girl on the video be like, I know who you're talking about. All right. Well, I don't know her, but I feel like she has way more potential and talent than actually is happening. But let's see here. We got crossover feet. What are you doing double layouts and your round off has already got crossover feet? Okay, that arm is not going into the ground fast enough, so she doesn't know how to get down. She's crossed over. Why would she know how to get down? She doesn't know how to get down. Her foot's crossed over, and her right arm doesn't know how to go down. Her left arm is chilling fine, but they're both kind of working together at the same time. They're not really doing much different things. So right there, we already have a problem. So I'm like, you don't even know how to generate energy. I don't like maybe that's just the angle of the camera, but I'm going to say it's not. She's got a lot of crookedness going on in her life. I don't think that was a good choice. I don't know why you would go into a back handspring right here, especially for how high the back handspring was. I don't think she accelerated fast enough to do a double layout right there. And I'm pretty sure I'm right on that because I don't feel like that came out. I don't feel like what we see here is acceleration. It doesn't keep accelerating. Right there, that's where the goofiness happened. Good, now we figured it out. Right here, she's looking forwards. Why is she looking forwards at this spot right here? It's kind of weird. She should be sending her head backwards and down a lot more. There's like a weird glitchy relationship that happened in her timing and her tempo. I only say that because that's not rising. Like that looks like lower spine compression, and it looks like nothing is actually, it looks like she's kind of like going gunk, and it like just jams into her lower back. There's no height coming out of that. Not for what she should be doing. We can obviously see that she's already bending her knees, flexing her feet, shrinking her shape. She's probably praying and hoping that she lives. That was not how she wanted to spend her day. In doing that, and everything just slowed down. That's it. It just slowed down. There's just a lot of things that were like, that did not accelerate. She's fully capable of making that look ridiculously clean. Just didn't accelerate. Simple as that. Let's see what she looks like. Pop, pop, poop, poop. Oh, good bent elbows. Like it. Nice. She's got some good. Yeah, we like her. Okay, she's great. That's some good tumbling right there. I mean, she could go faster. I don't think she's going as fast as she should be going, but we're gonna check out some things because look at how she brings her arms in narrow. You know that she's trying to go forwards. It's like I'm bringing them in and I'm gonna go forwards, and it's like that's very intentional. You see how she's dropping her chest? They're forwards, and boom, we're getting down. All right, getting down. Boom. Okay, so it's forwards and then drop into the ground, overturns like everybody else. But I like how she's bending her knees and she's throwing everything down. I like these ugly shapes. You know, if you're in gymnastics, you'd be like deduction, 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 deduction. But she's like, I'm going to get down. She's getting down into the ground. So much so that when she makes contact, she's still letting herself come down. She's not pushing off. It's still bending and going into the ground. That's what I like. And I like how when her feet contact the ground, boom, she throws ridiculously, even wide. So she's got wide arms so she can throw faster. Good for her. Because look at the freaking height out of her. Like, that's crazy. She's using the down so effectively well, and the horizontal acceleration so effectively well. Like, look how high she gets. Right? Like, she's got tons of time. She gets wide armed so she can drop her center of mass lower. She's going into the ground. Everything is down. I mean, remember that girl I said she was looking forwards too much? Like right here, you can tell she's already initiating head throw, looking backwards and getting it down. She's, drops it, brings it down. Let's see here. Do you notice that her body wanted to go up and she drops her arms out to the side so that it keeps her in the down position? So she's just going arm separation, initiates down. Then this is her throw. Nice bent elbows, but into the ground. It's dropping. So she's now going and ready to drop everything into the ground. Nice bent elbows to drop. And look at, we got goofy arms. Right off the ground, goofy arms. This arm is throwing. Her right arm is throwing. Her left arm is not throwing. Do you see how we're punching the ceiling? Now she's got more diver position, but one arm is punching the ceiling. This is her flipping arm. This is her twisting arm that's initiating the twist. Okay, so she's going, I got to flip. I got to flip with that arm, and then this arm is going to pull everything up, and then that's my arm that's going to be going for the ride. She gets to where? Here-ish, starts pulling early. I think if I were, I think that she needs to be a little bit more vertical. Yeah, she started pulling a little bit early. It's just my opinion. What do I know? She starts just pulling a little early. She needs to ride it out because it really shouldn't be, it shouldn't be like a full flip. I mean, whatever. If she was going to do a double, it wouldn't be like a full flip. It'd be like a three-quarter twist in the flip. But instead, she's doing a full flip. She should be really finished. She should be like at a quarter turn right here and then dumping and flipping out of it. So I don't know power tumbling rules if that's allowed, but that's how you would do a double, and I would set it up to be like a double. Let's see what this girl's got going on. That was really low into the ground. Look at that. Look how she's like, I am getting into the ground. Bam. And then look how high she goes. Gets back down. Good. This girl knows how to accelerate. Oh, hand contact. Wow, okay, really early. They built the runway longer than the tumble track, the tumble strip longer. What the heck? That's crazy. Oh my goodness. She was not happy. Yeah, okay. That's fun. Way too high, right? Right? Does everyone see that? I don't know why she put that there. That's a weird place to put something because what she's got to get down. She's got to get down to throw that double pack and she's going up. Wrong direction. So now she's super high. She's over rotating. She's like, how the heck do I stop myself from over rotating? I'll just open up early. She's got nothing to throw with. That's all she gets to throw with. And so she's got not a lot of down, like nothing's accelerating horizontally traveling to help her throw. Now she's got nothing to work with. She's got guts to throw that out. Like, and doesn't even land on the mat. Good for her. That's impressive. Let's see what we got going on over here. This is some good side profile. Let's see here. All right. Yeah, there we go. That's some just good, solid, straightforward. This guy wants to work. It's like let me go to work. Drop my hand down into the ground. Boom. First hand down. Check. Second hand traveling forwards. Initiates twist. Check. Throw into a full in. No, double double. Okay, look how early he's able to open. Now let's look at where he is in his positioning. Vertical up and down at the quarter. Whatever. He's actually not in a bad position. He did fine. It's not late to the party. But look how well he can drop. That other girl should have learned from this guy. This guy hits the ground and just drops it into the down. He's like, we are falling. We are going to keep falling. This is the blurriest video ever. Drops it all the way down. Yep. Stands it up. Has a punching arm. That's the blurry mess right over here. We're interpreting old school video footage. That is wild. I don't think that would use that technique because he's initiating that flip way too early. But hey, it goes for him. He's got so much energy. He can do it. And when you got that much horizontal energy, you can do whatever you want to at that point. Technique is like out the window because you can just huck and chuck things. And then this guy's triple back. Look at his set for his triple backflip, everybody. That's just the best set in the world. I'm so glad we taught people how to set because those really help your triple backflips. Oh my goodness. You know what you should do when you go teach backflips? Make sure you teach kids how to set because that's going to get how I'm just being ridiculous. Chill out, all you grumpy pants over there who are like, I don't like your attitude, Raleigh. You're having too much fun. Okay. Again, we're falling down a hill. We're rolling down a hill. Okay, do you notice where he is at the height? His head is up above himself. So when he starts rolling down the hill, everything matches up. Remember that gentleman we saw earlier where he was not stacked on top? He was a little bit early. He was a little bit late to the party. Was he late or early? Whatever. He was in the wrong spot. That's all that matters. And then he rolled down the hill and he landed short. But this guy, nope, not this guy. This guy does it right. Let's see what we got going on over here. Boom. Oh, that was funny, goofy timing. Okay. He's not accelerating fast enough. He just needs to have more energy. Oh, let's look at it. Let's look at the fail. Love it. Thank you for messing up so we can watch you. You're the best. And this guy, I think he just doesn't accelerate the way I would like to see somebody. That went up. Why was he going up? Do you guys see that? Do you see that mistake right there? Look how low he is. He's going down. Okay, down, down, down. So that's the height of him right here. Height of him is below this gray box. Okay, below this gray box. And then, whoop, he went higher than the gray box. That's a no-no. You don't go down to go up. Why was he going up? That's what messed him up right there. Now he tries to go down. He's too high. He didn't drop. He went down, up, down. Bad news. He knew that. He probably felt that. I mean, when you get this level of tumbling, you're like, crap, I went too high. Okay, so then what does he do? Yep, that's basically where he gets stuck at. So he, right here at the parallel, is supposed to be getting out of his twist, but look how low he is. He's not at the right height. He should be much higher. So he messed up someplace because he did not finish his twists at the right spot. That's the quarter. Okay. So he's supposed to finish the quarter there. So that's where he messed up. Right here, he should not be facing us. He should be facing the other side. He should be facing the other side. Yes. Yes, because of how much more he has to go. He is 180 degrees off of where he should be. He is late to the party right there. Okay. Right here is where you would be pivoting out to finish, but he's like, no, I'm going to crank in a whole nother twist. And he would need to be facing backwards or the other side. That's, yep. I don't know if I'm correct on that. My brain might be getting tired, but he definitely is too low because he didn't finish it. And I think his apex was off. All right. Just going to throw this in there just because why not? These are things that I teach my employees and work with people. So we just talk about acceleration and basically how does acceleration work and how do we not slow ourselves down when we run. A lot of times people put their foot in front of them and that's what slows you down. You got to pass over your foot so that you don't slow yourself down. There's understanding of basically if you're a large object, you're going to need a longer runway to get to your max acceleration versus if you're a smaller object. And so the height of a person tumbling does matter. It does matter. Also, how do I vertically accelerate over something when I'm moving away from gravity? There's different ways that you can measure things, but you also need to understand how to accelerate and what deceleration is and how much distance are you traveling over time? And is it an even acceleration or is it kind of like a different type of acceleration? And then, heel problems and vaulting, this happens in gymnastics. A lot of kids will slow down. It's heel striking and then they have to go wear those little foot things, those cheetah somethings, because they heel strike all the time because heel striking happens when you slow down. So there you have that. Arms freeze up when kids go to hurdle on vault. So that's what also initiates slowing down. Center of mass things. There's your center of mass. It's an imaginary point in outer space or in your body, and you can shape change around it. Depending on what you do with your body will determine where your center of mass basically positions itself. Center of gravity depends on how we're using the term, so I'm just going to use center of mass. And so if I lower my arms in front of me, then my center of mass will start to move forwards. It'll also drop down, but it's going to move forwards. So depending on where my positions are will determine where my center of mass is. That's kind of important to know. Where do you want your center of mass to travel? Because that's what's following the trajectory line, your flight path. So its center of mass is where you care. Is my center of mass dropping? Is my center of mass traveling horizontally? Is my center of mass rising? And then you're shape changing to position yourself around your center of mass appropriately. And so this is like aligning yourself where you'd open up your body so that your center of mass is in line with you, but you would close your body if you want your center of mass to get in front of you because you're trying to keep your center of mass on the correct trajectory. Less about you and more about where your center of mass is going. Also, shape changing can change where your axis point is and where your mass is in relationship to your axis point. And that has a huge effect too of how rotation works and how flipping works. I'm not going to get really far into that because we already talked a little bit about this. Shifting. So shifting is what I call, it's the best word I can come up with, kind of like a tap on bars, but it's basically you throwing yourself around your center of mass. So like when you pike down something and your center of mass is in front of you and then you throw into something, you're now positioning yourself on the other side of your center of mass. Your center of mass is still traveling and you're repositioning yourself. And you're really using torque in a couple different ways. There's internal and external torque, essentially, which is either you're throwing with your hips. And so that's internal torque. You're adding torque to your body or adding force, using force essentially internally with your body. But then there's also the external that's being added, the external force, which is how you're pivoting over your feet when they hit the surface. We saw this, how the athletes are pushing the surface down and then they pivot over it and then the surface applies torque essentially to them. It's applying a rotational force, even though it comes from a linear direction. Because all force is linear, there isn't rotation. You have to push straight on something and then it spins, it rotates. So the floor is becoming the external force power. You're creating the rotation, external blah, 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 moves on. Okay, so we got flipping torque where we have to internally throw. We got twisting torque where then we have to torque our chest and throw one side of our body harder than the other to create a twisting torque. And then it gets into why we would use all of this. This is kind of, I'm going to see if I have this. Give me a second. I might have a better visual. I don't know if I finished it. Yeah, this is great. So round offing. Flipping torque. So as we're jumping into, hurtling into, and we're shrinking our body, our head, shoulders, hands, they're going down. So our hips and feet go up. This creates rotation, flipping torque. Okay. So we have something going down and something going up. That's very important to understand. But the twisting side of it is one shoulder is going down and one shoulder is rising. That starts to initiate the twist. And so we see that happen. And we see this crazy diagram here. Our shoulders are twisting. There's a line going through our hand and foot, and that's spinning on that axis. And then our arm is throwing into the ground and flipping. There's a lot of stuff that's happening to kind of skew you. You have the flip, you have the twist, okay? You have two arms throwing into the ground. The just kidding, this is one arm throwing into the ground, one arm, it's not really rising, but the shoulder is going up because this shoulder is going down, and then we throw. So this is what we'd see with like a front handspring is figure A with the both arms throwing into the ground, and this is what we would see at the round off. And this is where we see people start to twist early. They shouldn't be. They should be initiating both arms almost down, and then because the one arm is pushing forwards, if you see this little spiral graphic I put here in C, because it's pushing forwards, it starts to unskew or skew the body and pull it into alignment. And so then we start getting there. Let's go find Kenzo. Let's go find Kenzo on the floor routine. Boopity boop. That was 11 years ago. That was 2 years ago. I think, here we go. Let's go with this one and we'll see what happens. All right, perfect. Here we go. Boop. Okay. Gets small. Okay, shrinks, pushes forwards. Do you see the push happening forwards through the arm and the leg? This nice line. This is going down. His right arm is going down, and he's pushing everything forwards so his shoulders are parallel with each other, and as he pushes forwards, it's pulling everything into alignment. The shoulder is dropping. Right shoulder is dropping. His left shoulder is staying in line. His right shoulder is dropping, and as it pushes, everything gets into alignment into this nice angle. Okay, so that's very important to see that we were trying to get here. Now, as there's not a lot of weight and pressure on this hand, he's got to pass over it because really it's the second arm that everything starts to collapse on. I want you to see how he sets up for his twist. Look at that. That punches the ceiling with this arm. It's not a lot. Pulls this arm down, and I'm going to show you him because his twisting timing is on point. See that? See that? Look at here. Parallel to the floor. He knows where he is. Cat twist out. He knows where he is. He knows this is exactly where he initiates the out. Okay? And we'll watch the next one. I want you to see how well he understands where he is in space and the quarter twists. Because this is what power tumblers need to really get confident in, is be more like Kenzo. Okay? Do you see he's punching? This arm is going much higher than the other arm. He's lifting the left side of his body as the right side is driving down. Okay? Let's see where he ends up here. Boop. Okay, so here he is at the quarter, right the spot, but right there you can see from here to here, he's trying to get to this position where his head and everything is vertical. He's trying. You can see he's like, I got to get to this spot right here. Okay, he's a little bit there. Let's see how it lands. Short. Do we see this? I hope everyone understands what I'm talking about. He is late to getting here. He is trying so hard. You can see it in his face. He's like, man, I'm late. And then he knows that. He knows he's late because he knows exactly where he is, parallel to the floor. Legs have separated. See this? He's got good leg connection. He knows where he is. He's starting to kick out open. He's already starting to look. He's like, I've got to get out of this position. He knew that was happening. Okay? I want you to understand that you just get to the right spot in the right place at the right time, and it's just like rolling down a hill. It's not complicated. Oh, this is a little bit of funness. Do you see how early he opens up? I know where I am. Parallel to the floor, knows where he is. You know what he's doing? He's going to half it. Okay? Do you see how his arms are set up? He's chilling everything out. He's like, I don't want to keep doing more. I want to do less. This is the beautiful part. He only lifts one arm to initiate the twist and the flip because he only needs to flip with one arm because he has so much energy already in the system. But before we even got here, parallel to the floor, knew exactly where he was, intentional arm position. Okay. Let's go back here for a second. Punches the sky with this one arm, dropping the other arm down, twist, 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 vertical. He's at the quarter position. Do you guys see that? I want you to see how well he understands this is so important. I'm going to keep saying it till I'm blue in the face because this is not actually that hard to do. Okay. Where is he going to land short? Yep. It's not terrible. He's got to get the half out. Boop. Okay. So yeah, he's pretty much vertical at the spot that he needs to be at. Good for him. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Dude, look at, he's got so much horizontal travel. He doesn't even need to use his right arm for anything. He's just taking his left arm and sending it his shoulder. He's like, let's just whip it forwards to create the twist we need. Vertical-ish at the quarter. That's kind of where he wants to be. Okay. Parallel to the floor. Knows where he is. He's already looking for the ground. Knows how to come out of it. He's like, just kidding. I need to squeeze out a little bit more. And so he tries to squeeze out a little bit more. Okay. But he knew what was happening right here. He knew where he was. And he's like, I got to squeeze a little bit more out. Very challenging to do. Again, look at that. Arm lifting. Doesn't care about this arm. This arm's not doing anything. Lift and throw. That's the throwing arm for the flip. Yep, he's going to half out. Yeah, he's short. Do you notice he's short? Why is he short? Let's figure it out. Oh, look it. He didn't finish. He should have been here. He should have had his chest down. He was late. Or yeah, he didn't get to the party soon enough. So he showed up at that spot and he did not finish his twist. He's at the quarter position. His chest should be facing the ground. His chest should have been facing the ground so he could have got that out, but it wasn't. Why is that happening? Why is he a quarter? He's a quarter off. Let's see where he is. Where did he end up? Oh, he's a quarter off right here. Okay, so he should have been, so not here he should have been half. He should have been half right here. He should have been facing the other side. He's a quarter off in this spot. He's not where he needs to be. Why is he a quarter off there? Geez, that guy has a lot of twists going on. Oh, because he's falling. Yeah, okay, so he's late. So he needed to have another half twist happening right here. He shouldn't be facing that side. He should be facing the other side with a half twist. So he's 180 degrees off right here. Because that's where he's off right here. He's off by 180 degrees from there to there. Now he makes it work because of course he does. Why wouldn't he? But that's not what he should, it's not what he's aiming for. So let's just be honest about it. You see the separation? He's already initiating the twist by that wide arm separation. Arm throws up to the ceiling. Okay, he doesn't do much with this other arm. He's sending this arm back and down. He's lifting so he can drop this down. Okay, let's see if he gets where he needs to be. It looks like he is off again, right? So he's off by a quarter. He's a quarter off. Okay, so let's go look at how he rolls down the hill. He gets upside down. Where is he at upside down? Basically right there. So he is a quarter off because he should be here, but vertical. He should be there, but vertical. And so he's a quarter off. He's facing the wrong position on the upside down. That's it. That's the simplicity of it. And that's why he's a quarter off there. This isn't hard. Just know where you're supposed to be and get to the quarters. Everyone focuses on halves when they twist. I don't know why, but we should be focusing more on the quarter position. I don't teach quarters from a horizontal travel. You do it on trampoline. And so you learn how to quarter twist on trampoline and work with the quarters on trampoline. But and then you have to land halves. You don't want to land like that because it's jack your knees up. But it's what's going to happen if you mess up. So This was an incredibly long video. I thought this was going to be like a shorter one. I have no idea how long. This is like crazy long. So I don't blame you for not watching all this. Goodness. I've got to do some editing because I messed up on one of my shots. Yeah, that's some power tumbling stuff. Really appreciate. I really appreciate the comments. I'm gonna get to the comments and make some videos. Got to do some drill videos. I don't know if I'm gonna do a spotting video. I'm not really around my gyms that much anymore. I don't live near them at the moment. But I got to figure out how I'm gonna do some spotting videos. And then some more philosophical concept coaching performance type of videos. I need to get those in too. But yeah, this has been a blast. I did not realize this was going to go so long. Continue commenting on my videos just because I like hearing from you. Even if you only watch 5 minutes, heck, comment how long you watched the video. Comment if you got to this point. That'd be crazy. But be like, Raleigh, I only watched 10 minutes of your video. Cool. Tell me a joke. It doesn't matter. Let me know what you learned, what you didn't learn, what you want to know more of, what's so hard. Raleigh, I don't know how to get an 8-year-old here. This is impossible. They're never going to get there. You know, it's actually easier than you realize. We can talk about it. We can talk about how do I get somebody who knows absolutely nothing to be like this power tumbler over here. And it's like, I don't know, I already made some videos about it, but I can do it again. So yeah, I appreciate you. You are important. You matter. You want to suffer less. I want to help you suffer less. I want you to be able to excel and reach your goals, achieve your dreams. Realize that there really isn't a barrier between you achieving what you want to achieve in this industry and sport. Because as long as you learn how to unlock your athletes by empowering them, gymnastics is just like a baking competition. You know, like once you learn how to bake a cake, it's just baking a cake. It's just convincing people they know how to bake. And they do. Everyone knows how to bake. It's not really that hard. Just goes back down to my key point is most people don't want to max effort everything. So there you have it. All right. Have a great day. Bye.